much lightning, you know, just flashing and popping everywhere. And I said to myself, oh God, please don't let this be my shop.
Ryal Thomas has owned his furniture restoration business for more than 35 years.
It was devastating to see your dreams go up. I mean, these are, you know, I've been doing this all my life. You know, this is a stopping point for my dreams.
Tuesday night, a little after 7, flames engulfed his shop. It took crews about 3 hours to put out the blaze.
The structure itself has been completely destroyed, and all the contents within the structure itself looks like it has been destroyed as well.
As for what was inside, furniture from an era that families hope to one day restore.
And regardless of what it was, I feel that even if it was something small, if it had some sort of sentimental value, you know, for someone, you can't replace that regardless of the money that you can write a check for. Just can't replace the sentiment of the furniture.
Thomas says he will be contacting customers in the next few days about the damage.
I'm not so much worried about my tools and other accessories, but I'm more so worried about the customers, because we've had some pieces down here that were very precious to customers, and that's mainly what I'm going to have to deal with. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ryal Thomas. Wow, what a situation that was just a week ago. And the title of the show this evening is titled Overcoming Loss. You know, a lot of us, you know, will go through a time or a period in our life where something devastating happens to us. It may be some material things that we lose. It may be, you know, family members that we lose, and, you know, and other things of such. But right there, just like it was for me, right there in that moment, my dreams, I thought, had stopped. And I'm going to get into this evening because I want to touch on something that may help you out there. I want to touch on something, because when something like that hits you unexpected, you're unexpecting that this is going to happen. You don't think that this could happen to you, that a loss could not devastate you to the point where that you think, whoa, my life is over like I know it. I know that my life is over. Well, I'm here to tell you today, we're going to talk about overcoming loss, because in the heat of the moment, it may have such an impact on you. You may be going through such a time or a period in your life where that things seems to be in so much disarray. Your job may be going bad, or you just lost a loved one, or you just had an accident, or like that, for example. You know, just losing what I thought was everything. But see, as long as you have your life, you can always rebuild. But right in the heat of that moment, the feelings fall on you where that you think everything is over. I'm through. But I'm here to tell you today that we must pick ourselves back up, and do not let a temporary feeling put us in a frame of mind where it becomes a long-term feeling that actually puts us in a state of depression, because that's what can happen. In the midst of everything that I've gone through in the last week, I had good friends, good customers, good people that surrounded me, that showed me concern, that showed me care. Now see, that gets into some things that we have discussed in the past. And in the past, we have discussed proper backup. You know, we all need to have individuals in our lives that when we feel that harm has come to us and they see that harm has come, that they will move in. They will move in and stroke you in a way where they encourage you to get back up on your feet. Because see, sometimes we may be in a place where that we feel that all is over. But see, that's not always the case. That's not always the case. If you look at the condition, I want to show you something. I want to show you the ashes of destruction. I want to let you see what was there in front of me, because so many things may lie in front of you that you actually cannot see. This is it right here. Destruction. Can you imagine building something for 35 years? 35 years of just doing what you think is the right thing, living your dream, and to one day wake up and see this. See, destruction. Now, this is enough. This is enough sight where that you will look at it and say, oh, right in that moment, you lose hope. Your dreams stop. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it allows you to feel the feeling of loss. It allows you to see that the good nature in people still exists. It allows you to see that you need to get up regardless of what you're going through. You know, you need to get up, because I'm very blessed today to walk out of something like that, to not be trapped in something like that. But you can see that you have to rebuild. I don't care, you know. Here I was looking for a screwdriver, you know, trying to figure out what am I going to do. Looking for a saw, everything, every tool, everything that I had appeared to be gone. But in reality, it was gone. But then I thought about my will to get up, my will to move on. And see, when people see that you're trying to help yourself and see that destruction hasn't deterred you from constantly pushing forward, they move in. They move in to help you, knowing that you are in a time, you're in a place in your life where you need some help. You're in a place where that, hey, this individual needs to be helped at this moment. He needs comfort in his life. So when you think about doing things, you may be at a place where you're thinking about doing some physical harm to yourself. And you may think no one cares, but let me tell you something. Do not put them in a place where they see the ashes, where they see the ashes that lies before you. That means leaving a loved one. That means leaving a family member. That means not being there for someone who's used to you being there. See, I don't know, and maybe I do know, what told me to walk out of the building early that evening, because I've never walked out of the building and have come to the show an hour and a half early. I don't know what inspired me to do so, but something or someone or whatever was there pushing me out of the way of this devastation, because it was lightning that hit this building. See, anything can happen at any given time. It can be a car accident. It can be you're going home and your dog is on the floor dead. It's going home finding a parent dead. It's going home or going anywhere and receiving bad news and thinking that your life is over. But you cannot look at the condition that's a temporary condition to put you in a long-term condition where you feel that you have to end your life or your progress as well. See, you can't do that because you bring ashes to your family. You bring ashes to your loved ones. See, when that happens, it's time to recover. See, it's time to get up, start all over again. Start all over with the feeling that loss does exist. And if you start all over, you start all over with a new approach. You start all over with new ideas. And as you start to move into a new situation, you start to think. You start to think about what you should or what you shouldn't have done. Or maybe you start to feel blessed that you're able to start over. Because see, sometimes starting over is the best thing because you put all those things behind you and it gives you an uplifting spirit. It gives you an uplifting spirit to start over, whether it's starting over in a relationship, whether it's starting over in a job, whether it's starting over, period. Now I want you to take a look at the new start. Take a look at the new start with a new approach. That what happens? What happens when you have faith? What happens when you have people that can properly back you up, that understand a loss has occurred? Let me show you what can happen when you know that this is not the end. When you know and feel that you can go on. See, when you look at a new approach and you look at new things, see, your dream doesn't die. See, what dies is your will to rejuvenate yourself. You get back to the basics and you start all over. You sit down and you talk to people. Let them know what your concerns are. Let them know what you need help in. Let them know where your shortcomings are. And when you sit back and you think, you reopen things. You reopen new buildings. You reopen a new mind. You reopen a new you. That's how you deal with loss. You don't sit down and get depressed. You get around and you keep moving. You may be tired. You may be struggling, but you may, and you must understand that this is not the end of the road. Let's get back on top of things. Let's get back on top of things. Let's strengthen our will. Regardless of how hard it may appear to be, you may sit down there and lay in your sorrow for yourself. You can't do that when you're trying to reinvent yourself. You can't do that. It may be an individual out there tonight that may be seriously thinking about what they need to do to bring about a new self-image. You know, don't let no one tell you that you can't change. Don't let no one tell you that you cannot recover. Don't let anyone discourage you from reigniting that will in you to survive. Dealing with loss. Don't get around people who are going to sit up there and criticize you and say, I told you this was going to happen and you should have done it this way. And if you would have done this, this wouldn't have happened. And if you didn't do that, that wouldn't have happened. See, you don't need that when you're trying to build your strength, when you're trying to build your will. Because see, that's what happened. When your will weakens to pick yourself up and move forward, that's when the enemy attacks. When you lose your will to move forward, you become stationary in your grief, but it's all right to grieve. It's all right to grieve, knowing that you are grieving. But when you move into grieving for someone or for yourself or for any situation, you have to know that's a normal reaction. That's a normal reaction to grieve over a lost loved one, to grieve over a lot of the things that's going on in society today. See, it's normal to do that. It's normal. We have all these killings and these mishaps, and people seem like they're just going wild right now. We understand that we will grieve over certain things, but I'm telling you, it's power in your will to pick yourself up, and understand that moving forward in a positive manner, people recognize it and they will join in, they will hold hands, and they will strengthen you, and they will strengthen the unity among all. You have to understand that in order to realize that a loss can actually be a gain. Because when you lose something over here, you strengthen something over there. And you have to understand, look at the unity. Look at the unity that we can bring about. Although there has been a loss, and our heart goes out. Our heart goes out. But do you accept the loss and continue to grieve? Or do you look at the loss as a sign that we need to do something as a community? We need to do something as a society, because going at this rate and not dealing with the loss, now I'm going to take this a little bit deeper. And I've been wanting to say this, and hopefully someone will understand. When you are dealing with the pressures of hate, and you have a combination of all these negative feelings, these feelings are going on and being put on our children. And these children are going home talking to their parents. And these parents may be in a position where they may be a doctor, or they may be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a doctor, but it may be someone that's helping to change the world. Can you imagine what that child is making that parent feel like, so they cannot do their job correctly because they're thinking about the feelings of their children? Do you understand that? Can you imagine a surgeon in the process of performing surgery, not focused on the surgery, but focused on the feeling that his child has asked him and displayed to him or her, because what has happened on the news or what has happened on school grounds? Do you understand what I'm saying? That this hate does not affect us as an individual, as individuals, I should say. This division, this hate is affecting the advancement of civilization. It's affecting the advancement of civilization. I may not want to work with you all of a sudden because you have put a feeling inside of me because of what the media is showing you. You would put a feeling inside of me because what I heard a group of people talking about. But now this feeling is dictating to me on how I'm going to perform my job. I may be in a position where I need to sign some things to help some individuals out. Now, all of a sudden, because of this feeling, I'm a little reluctant to sign some things to show my help or to show my concern. You have to understand that that's in all of this. But to recover from loss, we must realize that this exists. Your will, my will, must be stronger than the problem at hand. We must understand that. So if you're out there tonight and you're lying in the bed and you are thinking about what you need to do or what you want to do, and if it's something of some harm to someone or some harm to yourself, dig deep and think about what you're getting ready to create. You don't want to create ashes for someone, because you may feel that you're getting rid of a problem, but you're just one individual. You're getting ready to spread that problem throughout the community, throughout your family, throughout your loved ones. So are you trying to tell me you want to destroy the will of other people? Do you want to destroy the will of your loved ones, of your family members, because you feel weak? Hey, you're not weak. That's it. Even realizing that you may create something that you do not want to create means that your will is still there, because you're recognizing that something worse can happen to so many. You're thinking now. You're thinking. And the whole point and the whole problem that I'm trying to say is this. When you feel that all is gone, when you feel that there's no out for you, when you feel that you're at the end, you're not at the end. You're at the beginning of making a new you, of becoming a new you. So now I have the pleasure, and I say this wholeheartedly, now I have the pleasure of understanding and feeling the feeling of loss. So that means, here we go, when someone talks to me about loss, see, not only can I sympathize with them, I can empathize with them. And because I have felt that, and notice I said I have felt that, because see, now I put that loss behind me. See, I have felt loss. So when you want to talk to me, or when we are talking, or I'm speaking to someone, I can speak with them with an understanding, because the feeling of loss is within me. Can understand someone who's talking about being hungry. If you've never been hungry before, you need to feel that in order to understand what they feel and what they are talking about. Overcoming loss. Understanding that when loss happens, you need to hold on to things. You need to hold on to individuals who are trying to help you. You know, I didn't know where my help was coming from, and hope this individual doesn't mind me calling his name, and maybe I shouldn't call his name. Well, I had an individual right beside me who had a business right beside me. He had already made plans to move in a building. He told me this, and he had already signed the lease from my understanding. I walked into his place 2 days after the fire, and he said he was thinking about me, and his wife was talking to him and said, "You're already working. What you gonna do about your neighbor? How you gonna help your neighbor who's not working?" He told me this, and chills came over me, and he looked at me and said, "Ryal, You take that building. I'm already working. You are not working. You take that building. We'll discuss things later on down the road after you get yourself together. Proper backup. Proper backup. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. When people see your will to keep moving on, when people see that you're motivated, that this didn't get you down to the point where you're just ready to give up, when people see the strength that you still have in your dreams, the strength that you still have in you, they step up to the plate. They step up to the plate. You don't even have to ask them to step up. They will just recognize your strength and they'll step up. So dealing with loss, overcoming loss, means to strengthen your will to survive. Strengthen your will to continue. Because when you see or hear the word loss, nothing has been lost. Nothing has been lost when you're still trying to move forward. You may lose something temporary, but you have you remember the good times. You remember the times that he or she made you smile. You remember the times walking to the park with an individual. You remember the time eating. You remember the funny things in life. You remember the things that put a smile on your face. So how can you lose a smile? How can you lose joy for something or someone because they are gone? You be happy. They're happy for you because you recognize what you need to do to continue. So I'm telling you tonight, strengthen your will. When you think there's a loss, it may not be a loss. It may be a gain. It may strengthen your will to show you who you truly are. I want to thank you all. You all have any questions, any concerns? If I can be of any help, you give me a call. 760-8682. Thank you. This has been the Ryal Thomas Show.